Alright, here is round one. Yes, I would like to play first. So this is gonna be a mulligan, unfortunately. It's a fine hand, but ugh. Alright, well we can turn one tree speaker, and we do have a scry, so whoops, I definitely hit the wrong card there, so we'll keep this. And we'll put this tree speaker on top. How lucky. That was unfortunate. I mean, it could have been very fortunate. Who knows what our top card was going to be. Alright, so we're up against that aggressive white deck that I was afraid of. Let's see what's on top of our deck. Prime time. Oh, we'll keep this on top, and then we'll play Tree Speaker. Next turn we'll just level up our Tree Speaker and set ourselves up for hopefully a turn 4 prime time. Turn 5 Woodfall Primus. And the level up, sir. Play land. And we'll bash for 1. Because we can. Take it. You love it. Alright. Come on, untap land. Untapped land would be nice. Suppose I could have leveled this thing up, and eventually when we get to Elves of Deep Shadow, that thing could reduce some green mana, but you know, I'll take a 1/2 that produces 2 green. My opponent is probably going to kill it here. Play something scarier than a Skull Clamp. God, if they played like Elite Vanguard and then Skull Clamped it, I would be fairly happy right about now. Imdatora. Okay, sure. Well, we get to keep our Thrun. Ooh, Garrick. Yeah, let's do this, and then we'll make a beastie. That seems good. A 6/6 green worm creature token onto the battlefield for each land you control. Alright. Well, not the most exciting of ultimates, especially when we only have 3 lands currently, but it's fine. God, him. That was just... Alright, so this may be... if he's going to be doing hand disruption shenanigans, this may be a makeshift mannequin type deck here. Fast bond. Alright, we'll just jam with the beast. And then we can play a Thrun. And watch our Garrick get slowly pecked to death as we beat him about the head and neck with some trolls and beasts. Sadly, because of the Skull Clamp, the Nighthawk is going to clear out Garrick in 2 turns, which maybe was a compelling reason to draw some cards last turn instead. But I think that right now, just want to be as aggressive as possible. I mean, considering my opponent is on a 2-turn clock with just what I have on the board. Oh, well, it's better than a 2-turn clock. Alright. Ooh, Fire Ice. That seems good. Question is, do I just want to tap it down? I think I may just want to tap down the Nighthawk and I can make a beast to block the Sphinx if the Sphinx comes in next turn. So we will go ahead and attack with all these dudes. And then that's fine. Opting not to make me regenerate my throne was interesting. But that is your prerogative, sir. So we'll put a 3/3 into play. And then we can ice down his Vampire Nighthawk before combat, because he'll probably equip the Skull Clamp to the Nighthawk, so we can tap that down and get a little bit of extra value. Yep, there we go. Alright, we're going to begin combat. I would like to cast Ice, please, on this thing. We'll draw a card. Ooh, Mox Ruby. Fun stuff. Opponent opts not to attack with Kitchen Sphinx. Probably a smart move. So here we can either draw 4 cards, which I think is a fine thing to do, assuming he doesn't have any other shenanigans to get rid of Garrick. We did see a Hero's Downfall, so there's a possibility that that's coming our way. You know, there's plenty of other spells that just get us here, for better or worse. But I think we're just going to draw some cards off Garrick. You know, with 2 of our main win conditions gone. Ugh. Alright. Sure, you get some knights. And Skull Clamp re-equips, alright. So first I think we're gonna draw cards. Okay, alright. So let's see, we can Song of the Dryads the Gideon if we want to. We can Reclamation Sage the Skull Clamp, which seems like a strong play. Especially considering then if he wants to kill my beast, he has to double block. Because if we do that, we're probably not coming in with Thrun, since... well, I suppose we could leave up Regeneration and then not cast the Song of the Dryads this turn. Maybe we play a Strip Mine instead of another land and we just Strip Mine his Shambling Vents. Which also lets us leave back Song of the Dryads if we want to just take out his Vampire Nighthawk. So that seems like a fine line of play. Reclamation Sage. Take out the Skull Clamp. Okay. Yes, please. And then play. So I could fast bond and then play out all of my lands. She seems not very good. I think I'll just leave up the regeneration for Thrun. And we'll just come in at our opponent here. My opponent opts to double block. That's very good for us. If they opt to double block anything, that's very good for us. Yeah, I'm more than willing to trade a beast for that stuff. Sure. Okay. My opponent going to go to 9. Okay. And then here, I think I actually might play out our fast bond. Temple of Abandon. See what we scry into. Let's put this on the bottom. There, Hissing Quagmire. Mox Ruby and Strip Mine. The question is, do I want to strip mine his Shambling Vents now, or do I just want to Song of Dryads the Nighthawk? And I think I may just want a Song of the Dryads the Nighthawk. We can always strip mine the Shambling Vents next turn if we need to, and this makes his Gideon a whole lot more vulnerable next turn. Like, what, he can whack us over the head if he wants to, or make a single knight, which doesn't really protect him all that well. And if he opts to get an emblem, obviously we're very okay with that. And next turn I can actually come in with my Lumbering Falls if I want to. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can strip mine that thing. Then I can bash with a whole bunch of things. It's gonna be nice. Yeah, my opponent does have quite a few cards in hand, so they could have some shenanigans up their sleeves, or they could just have a grip full of lands and not so many shenanigans. Pondering what to do. I'm almost certain they're going to make a knight, unless they've got like a Wrath of God effect in hand, in which case, you know, I've kind of hedged against Wrath effects with my man lands, my Quagmire and my Lumbering Falls. And again, my Strip Mine just takes care of his man land, although, you know, if I'm activating Lumbering Falls, most likely I'm not strip mining, since I'll just wait, and if he goes to block it, if he's got any combat tricks, then I can strip mine it, but otherwise my 2/3 or my 3/3 outclasses his 3/3 quite nicely. Alright, so we've got a knight in play. Lingering Souls, that will buy you some time, sir. That will buy you some time. Just, jeez. Okay, so my opponent got all the sweet equipment. Which may be an argument for bringing in the ooh, spicy. Which may be an argument for bringing in the whatchamacallit. Yeah, so here I think we just sack our Tree Speaker. We go get, let's see, they all get +4/+4, so that becomes 8, 14, 22, +9. Yeah, game. Temple of Deceit and our Mountain. Sacrifice the Tree Speaker. We'll go get a Craterhoof Behemoth. Okay. And then we'll just smash our opponent's face. Like, I could have activated one of my lands if I used a different land here, and also gotten that, so that was a bit of a punt, but I think that we're still okay here. My opponent has decided that we are also okay. Okay, so my opponent is probably playing a good amount of removal, so I think that is an argument for bringing in Makeshift Mannequin, since if he makes me discard one of these things again, or if he just straight up kills one of my 1-win conditions, I think that having this is good. The Manic Vandal is going to be good against his various pieces of equipment. So the question is, what do I want to bring out? Fire Ice, actually Fire is going to kill a good number of his creatures. I imagine he's got a bunch of small creatures. Ice is nice if I need to either jam in some damage or want to avoid like his Death Toucher blocking my things. Thrun is going to dodge a lot of his removal. Let's see. Wall of Blossoms just blocks very well. I think I might take out this Garrick, and I might take out Oracle. Oracle's probably... actually, maybe I'll keep an Oracle and then take out Fast Bond. I mean, Fast Bond was okay there because we had Garruk to draw us a bunch of extra cards, but under normal circumstances I don't know how good Fast Bond's going to be for us. I mean, the other option is I could take out the Mox Ruby and keep in Garrick. Since we're on the draw, maybe that's fine. Having Pernicious Deed might also be correct, but I think I'm going to try this out and see how it goes. We could always bring this in if we need to. Sad thing about Pernicious Deed is I don't think it hits planeswalkers, right? It's just artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. Is that right? Yeah, artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. So it doesn't do anything against Garrick. Alright, this is slow, but we're going to keep this. I do like that it's got a Fact or Fiction. We could just start off strong and strip mine our opponent. I feel like that's got to be the play. I don't know what my opponent kept, but they kept 7, so presumably they have more lands in hand, but I don't think, I mean, strip mine's not getting a whole lot better for us than being able to strip mine a Shambling Vents, so. And we're under no pressure at this point. Short Fang, sure. What does this thing do? Target opponent discards a card, then if they have no cards in hand, flip it. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, that player loses 1 life for each card fewer than 3 in his or her hand. Okay. Alright, so eventually we've got to hit blue mana. Eventually. If we're under a whole lot of pressure, we can always Song of Dryads this. We'll discard Fact or Fiction. Oops. Discard Fact or Fiction. I would have loved to have cast Fact or Fiction there, but you know, can't win them all. Go ahead and play this Worn Power Stone. My opponent is going to make me discard another card next turn, presumably, but let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 mana next turn, so we're not quite to Behemoth or Primus range yet. But again, we can always Dryad that thing if we need to. I mean, discarding a Time Walk is suboptimal, but if my opponent is just going to do this for days, I'm okay with that. Woohoo! I made it to 7. 5, 6, 7, yeah. I'll go ahead and Dryad that thing. Hopefully, I mean, that might have given their opponent the extra land they need to cast something like Gideon, but you know, if he plays Gideon and we can play a Woodfall Primus, I think that we're happy with this outcome. Lingering Souls. Also an acceptable thing for my opponent to do when we hit our island. Too little, too late. Alright. Oops, cancel. All these signets, you know, I can never quite get them right. I'll go ahead and blow up my opponent's swamp. Keep them off black mana. That way they can't flash back Lingering Souls, which would be nice. Oh, that's gonna be annoying. Alright, so kind of hope that my opponent kills my Woodfall Primus so that I can kill the Skull Clamp. That would be nice. Draw some cards. Probably gonna hit a land, I would imagine. Opponent has a million cards in hand. Now, I mean, there's a good chance that I just play out the Behemoth and I try and go to town on my opponent. I mean, I'll be smacking him over the head for 15 next turn. So there's not a whole lot my opponent can do about that either. And then that just means that unless they've got something significant, they're dead to my Woodfall Primus. Since it's got trample and his Lonely Spirit has one toughness. I suppose it leaves him dead to both the Behemoth and the Woodfall Primus if he doesn't have a creature that he can play. I mean, he's gotta have something, right? Like, how have you're gonna see so many cards and you just haven't hit another land? That's very unfortunate for my opponent. Oh, Temple. Alright. So, they hit a land, but just perhaps not the land that they were hoping to hit. But I'm very happy with our decision to turn 1 Strip Mine. It seems like a solid play on our part. Alright, my opponent is clearing out their board for us in order to draw extra cards. Ooh, I discarded him. I like that. I mean, I think if my opponent is casting this card, we're winning anyway. Alright. So maybe my opponent's going to be able to flash back the Lingering Souls next turn if they want to. So maybe that's a reason to play the Manic Vandal this turn and just destroy the Skull Clamp. Like, getting the Craterhoof Behemoths out seems fine, but that also sets me up to next turn just be swinging for lethal with my Behemoths. Destroy the Skull Clamp and see what my opponent drew. Was it something sweet? Damnation? Wrath of God? Something? Anything? Shriekmaw. Alright. I certainly hope you're going to try and hit my Woodfall Primus, because that would make me so happy to just take out like your Temple here. Okay. Deal. Deal to the max. And we'll Craterhoof. And I think that will do it, sir. I think that will do it indeed. Alright, so, you know, whether we got lucky there or just we're complete geniuses to Strip Mine turn 1, either way, it shows the power of this card. It's just so unfair. And, you know, if we had picked up that Crucible of Worlds, that would be, especially since we got the fast bond as well, being able to just mow down my opponent's board would be nice. But I'll settle for a single Strip Mine instead of a fleet of Strip Mines. That's acceptable.